Today on In a Darkened Room, it's all about the Foo Fighters.
Shed some light on them. Hello and welcome to the Darkened Room of Music Conversation. I'm Chris.
And I'm Darren.
And it's the Foo Fighters time.
Awesome.
Yeah, we do these artist spotlight shows, kind of showcasing one artist that one of us or both of us really loves.
Right.
And this one's dedicated to Foo Fighters. I love the Foo Fighters. In fact, I grew to love them after seeing them live sitting next to you. They opened for the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
That's right.
And it was on the tour for their album, There's Nothing Left to Lose.
Right.
And I remember Dave talking about this in a documentary. The wall of lights that was behind them. Do you remember that?
I do.
He designed that after that Queen live album.
Wow.
Yeah. Dave Grohl,
Nice.
of course.
Huge Queen fan.
Huge Queen fan.
Yeah.
Dave Grohl's actually a huge music fan.
Yeah.
I mean, you can really tell in some of the styling of the music. And there's stuff even outside of the world that he creates music in that he appreciates as well.
Yeah.
So this man, so not only do I respect his musical taste,
For sure.
I respect him as a human being as well. I got to meet Dave Grohl.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you got picture proof of that.
I have picture proof. Here it is.
Nice.
So yeah, there's me meeting Dave Grohl. There's the group picture.
Cool.
So yeah, that happened in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I was living down there at the time, and my friend that was with me there in the picture, she actually won us those backstage passes.
Very cool.
And it was totally unexpected. We
Yeah.
arrived early, had floor tickets, so it was general admission. Had to get there early.
Yeah.
I'm glad we did, man,
That's
because
so
that was
cool.
a highlight of my life right there.
I bet.
Dave Grohl is as nice and approachable as you would expect when you see
Yeah.
him on TV, talking to interviewers.
It's good to
and all.
hear that.
Yeah, he was fantastic. Took a lot of time with each person.
Yeah.
And really he was really interested in talking to everybody.
He's a genuinely nice guy.
He is. And
Yeah.
he's about the fans. He loves the fans because he knows that he wouldn't be there without them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I just want to briefly say,
Yeah.
and kind of dovetail with what you were talking about. I love the fact, I just think he has the right attitude when it comes to music in general.
Yes.
If he likes it, he has no qualms about playing with Rick Springfield 1 minute and then turning around playing punk music the next. And I just love that. I think it's kind of similar to our attitude in all honesty.
Yeah,
So,
he's hung out and played with Lemmy of Motorhead.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Covered Eddie Money songs. I mean, just whatever he wants to do, he does it.
All over the place.
Yeah, I love it.
So
love it.
So anyway, yes, the Foo Fighters as a band, current members. Let's kind of roll down that a little bit.
Yeah.
And I also want to start with this. There's a lot of information out there about the Foo Fighters. I kind of started my Pink Floyd show about this as well. I would recommend going to watch the film Back and Forth.
It's excellent.
That came out for Wasting Light.
Right.
And I and my brother, we actually went to watch it in the theaters. We got they did a live stream in theaters,
Right.
And they also did a live show right after the film was shown. But that has the best information on the history of the band, who broke up when with the band, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So that's really I highly recommend that film because it's very, very detailed.
Yeah. It's really good. Done really well and a good overview of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as of right now, the band members include, of course, Dave Grohl.
Yep.
Nate Mendel on bass. Now, he's been the bass player with the band the whole time since they were a band.
Yep.
Pat Smear, of course.
Been in and out.
In and out. Yeah, left in 97, came back in 2010. Although in between, he kind of did some session work. He did some live shows with them.
Very talented guy.
Yeah. Taylor Hawkins, of course, the monster on drums. I'd say right behind Dave Grohl. Just as an amazing drummer as Dave. So
great musician.
Yeah. And he had fantastic energy too. I love his energy.
Yeah.
Chris Shiflett on guitar.
Yep.
He joined them in 1999 after both Pat Smear left and of course Franz Stahl, who played with them briefly.
Right.
He took over, still with the band.
Yeah.
So now they have both him and Pat Smear.
Right.
And a side note, something that I only learned recently, I did not know that he was in another band that I appreciate. And I highly recommend that if you like music and you like comedy,
check it out.
Check out Gimme Me First and the Gimme Gimmes Ruin Johnny's Bar Mitzvah.
What a great title. I love
Go listen to it when you're done watching us.
Yeah.
So, all right. Rami Jaff, keyboards, piano. He was mainly like a live touring person, but he's a permanent part of the band now as of 2017. And so that rounds out the current lineup of the band.
Cool.
All right, so just real quick, we're going to touch on the albums that they released, their official releases, and just kind of go through them and talk about it. And then after that, we're going to reveal our list of favorite rare songs by the Foo Fighters.
Yeah, they've got an extensive catalog, a really good, strong discography.
Yeah.
Starting in July of 1995. Actually released on July 4th of 95.
Hey, look at that.
The self-titled release. Now, I was always under the impression that these were just Dave demos.
Right.
And he did everything, and they just liked the demos, and they released them. But I understand that is not entirely the case.
Not entirely the case. I guess it was kind of supposed to be a demo thing that he could share with friends.
Yeah.
He was going through a depression after Kurt, took his life.
Yeah.
And this was kind of his therapy. Played all the instruments on it. That's actually true. The final product you hear is all Dave on guitar, drums, bass, everything.
Right.
Yeah. So, he was passing it around. Eventually, a record label caught wind, and they're like, hey, we want to release this. So they actually wound up remixing everything that Dave had initially released to kind of pass around.
Cleaned the demos.
Cleaned it up. So technically it's a demo album, but it's also a produced album as well, because he had a producer during the recording sessions as well.
Right. Right. Yeah. Okay, so it was him and a producer.
That's right, yes.
Okay. All right, and then May 20th of 1997 brought the release of The Color and the Shape, and man, did it not hit me over the head. When I heard Monkey Wrench the first time, I'm like, there's something different going on here. It was bigger, it's beefier, it's tighter. I absolutely love the production of that album.
I loved it too, but the song that hit me over the head was Everlong.
Well, sure.
Yeah. I'm sure if you've watched us a bunch, you kind of get the impression that Darren loves the straightforward rock, the technical, the interesting. I like how it feels.
Yeah.
And for me, and I appreciate that stuff too.
Yeah.
We both do. Yeah. But, Everlong, the feeling of that song, the mood. I remember being in my car when it first came on the radio, and I'd heard it the first time.
Yeah.
And I don't think the radio wouldn't go up any louder. It wasn't going up loud enough.
And also, along those same lines for me was when I heard My Hero the first time. I just loved it, man.
That was a great song, too.
Yeah. So that, in my opinion, sonically was a big, huge step up.
Yeah. It was quite unexpected. I remember being surprised.
Yeah. And it sounded more like a band because it was at that point. So.
Yeah. It's like, wow, these guys grew some balls.
Exactly. Then There Is Nothing Left to Lose, which was the tour that we saw them on.
That's right.
Released November 2nd of 99. Of course, Learn to Fly was the first single off that.
Right. Yeah.
And
great video.
I was about to say that video where they're wearing drag. You think back to like Billy Squier and how one silly video ruined his career.
Yeah.
These guys dress up like women, and it's like no big deal, and it shouldn't be a big deal. It was hilarious and obviously tongue in cheek.
Yep.
And I thought it was great, but that album as a whole is fantastic. Out of all of their records, I probably listened to that one more than any other because I was in music retail at the time.
Yeah.
So many days I would just put it on repeat and let it play. Yeah. I really like the song Generator off that album.
That's a great one, yeah.
Yeah.
And I love Next Year.
Next Year is really nice.
Yeah. I almost wanted to ask Dave when I met him, so next year, were you listening to Alan Parsons at the time?
Yeah.
Because it kind of felt like that,
Yeah, and that album's got a little bit more trippiness to it at times. I don't know how to, this weird atmosphere stuff going on, but I think it's really cool. I thought it was a really nice departure from The Color and the Shape, and it kind of made sense in the progression of their albums.
Right.
Then One by One, released October 22nd of 2002.
Yeah.
In my opinion, more of a get-to-the-point heavier type record.
Yes.
And really good. I mean, I loved it right away.
I did too. I played that a lot when it came out.
Yeah.
And that's contains the song, of course, that probably most people in the general public know from the Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
It's Times Like These.
Times Like These, yeah.
Yeah, that song has really had a life. I mean, it's when the pandemic started.
Yeah.
They actually did a video with like 50 different stars on Zoom doing that song in the stripped down acoustic version, and it was amazing. It's like the song lives and lives and lives. It goes on.
And I kind of felt like when they did it the first time around, originally, I thought it kind of had a reference to kind of like the 9/11 stuff.
Yeah.
So you're right. It is very adaptable to any kind of situation that you go through in life.
It is.
And of course, my man Glenn Campbell He did a cover version of that, which was really cool.
He did, yeah.
And by the way, as these albums went, they were selling like hotcakes, man. I mean, the first album sold 1.4 million. We got The Color and the Shape, their best-selling record at 2.3. 1.3 million for There's Nothing Left to Lose, and One by One sold 1.4 million. So these albums are, man, they're doing damage at the box office. Doing good numbers.
That's quite the run.
Right. Yeah. Then the next album, I bought this at Tower Records in Nashville at midnight, the night of its release. Me and my friend Kevin. What's up, Kevin? He bought it too. In Your Honor, June 14th of 2005, the double album.
That's right, yeah.
And I really like that. A lot of people are kind of torn on that. They either like more of the acoustic album or they like the heavier stuff. I loved it all. This was probably the moment that I was into Foo Fighters more than ever before.
Yeah.
And of course, In Your Honor contained a huge single at the time, Best of You.
Great song.
Great song. Even pop radio claimed that one for a while. Yeah. And, I don't know. That one, and I would say, Learn to Fly were probably their best pop moments. As far as getting played on pop radio. We'd have to check that out, but I'm pretty sure. Once again, In Your Honor sold 1.5 million copies.
Wow, yeah. I liked that album. Then there were moments that I loved, but as a whole, it's one that I don't visit that often.
I know, and I've heard a lot of hardcore Foo Fighters fans say that same thing. Yeah. I don't know. I'm infamous for liking the black sheep of the catalog.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
But it was that CD that they all signed when I met them. So it was on that tour when I met them.
Yeah.
So,
nice.
Yeah.
So that one sold 1.5. Then they came out. It seemed like 2 months later almost. But it was actually September 25th of 2007.
Yeah.
They came out with Echoes, Silence, Patience, and Grace. Once again, great record.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
I do too. Yeah.
Didn't listen to it nearly as much as In Your Honor. That's me personally.
Yeah.
But I did like it. It didn't quite reach platinum status, and this is when music is kind of shifting a little bit once again.
The whole industry's kind of
I should say the industry was shifting at that point with how people were acquiring their music, and you started to see this in some of the sales numbers. So, but that is not an indication of the material at all.
That's right, or their success,
success. Exactly.
I mean, at that point, they were becoming a household name for sure.
I've never felt like they had a real dip in their popularity. It's always seemed like they've just been around, man, forever. I mean, we're talking like 25 years now that they've been around. So I think they're here to
make me feel old, man.
I think they may be here to stay.
I think so too.
Think about this: half of Dave Grohl's life he's been in Foo Fighters.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
and Nirvana was a blip.
Yeah. A huge blip.
Yeah. Huge, yeah.
Yeah. Wasting Light, which was released on April 12th, 2011.
Yeah.
Once again, I like that record.
It's great. It's got a much rawer sound because they actually recorded it in a garage.
Yeah.
They called in Butch Vig again to come in and produce that album. And, just a much more stripped down, no Pro Tools, no fancy effects on it. It was just straightforward rock.
And I think that's the kind of record they really wanted to make. And once again, when you're talking about Dave Grohl and Taylor and all these guys, they seem to have a mission. Whenever they do an album, they seem to have a goal in mind. It was almost like the old days with, I always felt that same way the first few albums of Queensryche. It's like every time they would come out with something, it was like, this was kind of calculated, but in a good way.
Yeah.
In a good way. And I kind of feel the same thing with the Foo Fighters.
Yeah. That's a sign of a great band.
Exactly.
And they typically hang around the longest, too, when they do that.
This is true.
Yeah.
Now, I thought their next release was just a total blast. I love Sonic Highways. I love the concept of Sonic Highways. I love the video that came along with that.
Yep.
And I just thought it was so cool. Released November 10th of 2014. I thought that was one of the coolest moves that they've ever made as far as professionally.
Oh, yeah. What a great idea to do a documentary about each song and how it was written, how it was recorded in a different city with a different special guest.
Right.
Fantastic idea.
And kind of covered the musical legacy of these cities they were in. I just thought it was done really interesting.
It was fantastic.
Concept.
Yeah. It was an HBO documentary, so if you have HBO, I'm sure you can find it on demand if you want to watch that.
Highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Concrete and Gold released September 15th of 2017. I thought it was pretty good.
Not bad, yeah.
I thought it was pretty good.
I really haven't listened to that one that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that most hardcore Foo Fighter fans will like something on the record. It's kind of like they encompass a lot of what they do on that record.
Yeah.
And so I think it's cool. I think they were kind of trying to make everybody happy.
Yeah.
So if you're a fan, you're not going to be disappointed.
There's certainly moments on there I love.
And then finally, I guess we might as well bring this up. In about a month, if all stays as scheduled. A new Foo Fighters record called Medicine at Midnight will be released on February 5th, 2021.
And you can already hear on Spotify, and they performed live on Saturday Night Live, which is where I heard the song first.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Great
I can't
song.
wait to hear this album.
Yeah.
Again, they've altered their sound a little bit. They're trying something different, but they still sound like Foo Fighters.
Exactly.
It's just a sultry, groovy...
Yeah.
It's good.
And if you think about some of Dave's heroes in life, your David Bowies, your Freddie Mercurys, all these guys, they always did lots of different genres, lots of different types of music, but you knew it was them. And I think, once again, as you go through their discography, you find the same thing with Foo Fighters. They cover a lot of ground musically, but it always sounds like them.
Exactly right. Awesome. All right, so we're going to kind of go over some of our favorite demos, rarities, B-sides, because, again, you've heard Foo Fighters, you know their history. Maybe you haven't heard some of this stuff.
Yeah, and there's some great extra tracks that they have out there.
Great stuff, yeah. And in lieu of a Spotify playlist this time around, we're going to have a link to a YouTube playlist.
Cool.
Because some of this stuff you can't find on Spotify.
But it's all on YouTube.
It is all on YouTube. Yeah. So, it's that rare.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, you want me to start?
Go ahead.
All right. I'm going to start out with the first song, Winnebago.
I almost put that one down.
Yeah.
I listened to that like 3 times today, and I'm like, God, I love this song.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And it's kind of from the first album's tracks.
Yeah.
It was actually released. Now, a lot of people may not know this. There's a band called Late, which was actually the Foo Fighters. And they kind of released it incognito. Yeah. The album was called Pocket Watch. It was like an EP.
Gotcha.
It predated Nirvana, this song did.
Yeah.
The Foo Fighters later re-recorded it.
Right.
But the original version was this, the band Late, as he called it.
Yeah.
It was released, though, as the re-recorded version as the B-side to Exhausted, which is actually the last track on the self-titled album.
Self-titled, right.
Yeah. And it was considered, it actually was the first official Foo Fighters single.
Right.
Yeah, it was released as a vinyl only.
Yeah.
And so this predates This Is a Call.
Yeah.
And didn't really gain traction until This Is a Call came out. So
gotcha. Great choice.
Winnebago, definitely. You can tell it's that recording session.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't know why it was left off.
I agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
Yeah. So that's my first pick. You want to do one now?
Yeah, I'll do one. I'll start with a cover song, and it's a cover song that I really like that they covered, and I thought it was an unusual pick, but it was a cool pick. And if you know Dave, it's not surprising. So Joe Walsh did this song back in '81 called "Life of Illusion," and the video is the one where he's driving a tank around, being a big goofball.
Yeah.
And the Foo Fighters covered it on one of their B-sides on a CD import single somewhere along the way.
Yep.
And it's awesome. I absolutely love their version.
That's a good choice. Yeah. I really like that choice.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll name another one from the first album session as well, How I Miss You.
Yeah.
This one, I think, that's the one that starts out real quiet sounding.
Yeah.
It's got some really great dynamics.
Yeah, and then it gets going crazy after. Yeah.
I can kind of see how it doesn't really clearly fit in with the rest of the album.
Yeah.
Although you could cite For the Cows.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see why they left that off.
Yeah.
But it's a great song, and
Very
I'm so
cool.
glad that, it got out there as a bonus track. I think it was a bonus track on like a Japan release version of it, but it's a great one. How I Miss You.
Yeah. All right, well, up next for me, this one was kind of different. They released it as a 7-inch vinyl-only single.
Yeah.
And the song is called Banging. And I don't know if they ever officially put it on a CD. I don't think they did. I think the only way you could get it
I don't think they did.
was a 45.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought it was so cool.
Yeah.
And it's a really rocking song. Very cool. Very riff oriented. It's really cool. So check that one out. Bangin'. If you haven't heard it, it's excellent.
Very nice. All right. So leftover track from Color and the Shape is where I'm going next. Dear Lover.
That's a good one.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah.
That is a really good one. And that one would make my honorable mentions. I almost put that one on here, too. That's a good one.
Yeah, so very cool. Yeah, I love that one. It sounds like that album. So that's what I love about it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go with another cover song. They covered a Cream song.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought they did it very well. It's called I Feel Free.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just slamming, man. But they kept it pretty true to the original.
Yeah.
I mean, you right away know what it is.
Yeah.
And it's well worth checking out.
Absolutely.
So I Feel Free.
All right. So a B-side to Times Like These is called Normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to guess that you have this on yours as well.
That one is not only on my list,
Yeah.
it's my favorite Foo Fighters song, period.
Look at that.
Yeah.
It certainly should rank up there.
Yeah.
I haven't actually taken the time to try to list my all-time favorite Foo Fighters songs. Yeah. I think that, that might at least make the top 10, maybe the top 5.
It's my favorite Foo Fighters song, period. I don't know how that got left off the album. I have no idea. The production's amazing.
Yeah.
The song, the feel of it. I mean, I think it ranks right up there with the best stuff they ever did.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll just go on with the next one here. Seda, which was the B-side to
SEDA. That's another
Long Road to Ruin.
Yeah.
I almost put that on yours.
I did. I did. I listened to it a few times a day.
Yeah, so that's a really, really cool
They got
song.
it. Just, once again, we're talking an extensive list of B-sides here.
Yeah.
I mean, it could probably take up like 3 or 4 albums worth.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, easily.
Yeah, easily.
Easily. And they're probably the best B-side band of all time.
No kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding. Yeah. Years ago, do you remember that stack of CDs that I had? It was all bootlegs of Foo Fighters.
Yeah. Yeah, I do remember that.
They had some crazy stuff on there, like all kinds of covers. You know, never been officially released to the public.
Right.
But yeah, they're all over the place.
That's the gift of Dave, man.
It is. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll wrap it up with a couple of more things.
Okay.
A song called "Make a Bet."
Uh-huh.
I really like that one.
Yeah.
A great B-side. Also, another cover song they did, "Darlin' Nikki," which I thought was really good.
Yeah.
Very true to the original in its own way. But
Yep.
So that's
one of my favorite Foo Fighter moments for sure. I didn't put it on this list, but it ranks
the
way
Prince
up there.
song, of course.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I laughed the first time I heard that.
Yeah, me too.
And then I'm like, I
laughed today when I heard it. You can't help it. But yeah, Foo Fighters, great discography, great B-sides. I mean, there's really nothing bad I can say about the Foo Fighters. If you don't like the Foo Fighters, you don't like music. How about that?
You're not my friend. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I did want to mention some of a couple covers that I really, really love. There was one on an album called The Laundry Room, which was a record store day only release.
Yeah.
So it's very, very hard to find. It is actually on Spotify. That one is. So check out their version of Kids in America by Kim Wilde. I love their version. I love their take on it. Yeah. And of course, I can't fail to mention Baker Street. Their cover of the Jerry Rafferty song.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite cover by them.
Really?
Yeah, I think it is.
They did a great job. One of the things that he had talked about doing and even mentioned in interviews, but it never came to fruition, he was going to do 2 Andrew Gold songs. I'm a huge Andrew Gold fan.
Yeah.
And he was going to do Lonely Boy and Never Let Her Slip Away, which is a wonderful song, a great pop song. And I don't know, maybe it's in the future. Maybe he'll do it down the road.
Who knows?
I'm looking forward to it if he ever does, because I love both of those songs dearly.
Maybe in the right circumstance, the right invitation, maybe he would do it.
Yeah, you never know.
So yeah, we'll see.
Let's hope.
So yes, if you're a Foo Fighters fan, there is an endless amount of material to hear, even outside their albums. I mean, you have a wealth of material to satisfy your urge.
And not to mention all the stuff that Dave has played on. I mean, Queens of the Stone Age comes to mind. He's played on Verbena. I mean, all kinds of weird stuff out there, man. He's done. So well worth checking out. He's got a huge discography, not only in the context of the band, but outside the band.
Yeah. And for a brief moment in time, he was the drummer for Tom Petty.
That's true. He was.
Yeah.
And played on a garbage record. He's bounced around.
There you go. All right. Yeah. So that's the Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed us gushing about them as well. So.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching this episode of In a Darkened Room. You can find the link to this episode's companion Spotify playlist in the description. Darren and Chris welcome your comments. You can leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments section below. Follow In a Darkened Room on Twitter to receive updates and submit your ideas for what we should discuss in upcoming episodes. Darren and Chris are also on Instagram, so give them a follow there as well. All of these links can be found in the description below. While you're there, be sure to click subscribe and ring the bell.
All right, random topic time, and let's do trivia.
Let's do it.
This is actually my favorite random topic category.
Yeah, it's fun. And every now and then we get stumped. Not often. But
not often, yeah. Sometimes it tries to stump us by tricking us, Mick Jagger.
I'm feeling lucky tonight.
Draw one out of there, Darren.
All right, here we go.
All right.
Oh, I drew two.
Oh, yeah. Only one.
Let's not get greedy here.
That's right.
All right, the category is the 80s.
All right. I think we got this.
All right. Who teamed with Paul McCartney on the 1982 hit Ebony and Ivory? Now, we know the answer to this, but I bet you these choices are going to be hilarious.
Let's listen to the choices.
All right, the choices are Michael Jackson,
right?
Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder, and this last one here, I cannot see. Kevin Baker.
Kevin Bacon?
Baker.
Kevin Baker.
Kevin Baker. Never heard of him.
Yeah.
All right. Well, obviously, we know the answer.
We know it's Stevie Wonder. But when you said Ray Charles, I'm like, I kind of want to hear that version.
that would be pretty good, actually.
I think that would be really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? At the time, I really liked the song.
Yeah.
I think the message was great.
Yeah, it was good.
It's still a great message to this day. Did it get worn out? Was it hokey? Did it get made fun of on Saturday Night Live? Yes. All of the above.
Yes.
But it was a well-intentioned song. And looking back in history, there's far worse than that song.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the song could apply today with what's going on, so...
Absolutely.
All right, well, thanks for joining us again. We'll be back again with another episode very soon. So take care, guys.
See ya.